Hello, hello. Welcome to Healthy Perspectives, a podcast that takes on current cultural and social issues through a clinical lens. Hello, hello. All right. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we appreciate your time. And the tip of the day today, love isn't negotiable and everything else is. A lot of times, so I've encountered a lot of things as a counselor. One of the things that comes up routinely, and it comes in batches. So it seems to be a little bit heavy at the moment, which is what brought this to my attention, is this whole transactional style and approach to affection. Transactional love is not love. Love that has transactions can be love. You're like, wait a second, that doesn't sound right. Look, order matters. Order matters. Transactions are, unfortunately, in a capitalistic society, culture, which we generally are here in the United States. Unfortunately, what that often means is that we think we can transact our way to our pinnacle, our peak. But that's not the case. A lot of very successful people have learned the hard way that you can be a millionaire or even a billionaire. And if you try to transact your way into being the right father or husband or wife or mother, it's not going to work. It's completely ineffective. You cannot buy love. So today I'm gonna go through a few different things. One, I'm going to talk to you about what kinds of love are there, because in the English language, we have some limitations, and I'm going to highlight those. Okay. Then I'm going to talk to you about the love languages. Most of you've probably heard Gary Chapman's work on love languages. And then I'm going to tell you why it all matters. So if you hang with me, that's what you're getting today, folks. It's going to be a lot more professor style or educational style, whatever. But here's the thing. This is important. So my hope is not only that you're going to, partake in this, but that you will then turn around and help others learn it in whatever form that comes in. I don't care. Take this content, and blow it up and talk more detailed about it. I could care less. What I care about is that y'all out there get this information, because so many people, unfortunately, don't have it. And we need it. We need it, especially in difficult times, which all of us go through difficult times. You go through the grief and loss of people who've passed, of relationships that have ended, of dreams that have died. We go through difficult times. And as a culture right now, 2024, we are going through a challenging time with propaganda and politics and all of that kind of stuff within the culture, as well as these wars going on around the world. And to be honest, we all could use a little bit more love. And I'm going to show you how to do that, because we often think we have to go out and get it, but that would be transactional. And order matters. So hang with me. I'm going to go into a little bit of professor mode. I'm going to go ahead and share with you a screen that I've got set up here. It doesn't have any sound whatsoever, so you're just going to hear my voice. And I know that this absolutely complicates my my clips, but I don't really care. And there was a little hiccup in my giddy up here for a second. So I'm going to hit that again, and hopefully this will work. All right. Let's start with love. Comes from a place. The question you have to answer that I can't answer for you, no matter how badly I want to, I cannot answer the question of where love comes from. for you. I just can't do it. What I get to do is tell you where I believe it comes from for me. And that's all that I can do with that. So when I'm looking at this picture of love, I interpret it this way. That picture that contains all the love in the universe, all the love in the world, comes from God. Now, you don't have to believe that. I'm not trying to convince you of that. That's your own journey. From where I sit, that's where it sources. What we do know is it's got to come from somewhere. You might say that it comes from people, or it just comes from the universe, or it comes from you do you. But one thing or another is going to lead you to this. It's got a source. It has to have a source. Okay. All right. Where does it go? Oh my goodness. My technology is failing me today. Let's try this again. Okay. Hopefully this is all working for you out there in podcast land. If you're following on Rumble, YouTube, you're going to see some good visuals coming up here, and I'm gonna walk you through it all. So you might see me moving, shifting, and doing some things, to make it visible. Now you see that love that comes from the picture is going to fall into some cups. Now, there are 7 different kinds of love. I'm going to highlight them for you. Eros, which is a romantic love, sexual love, intimacy kind of a love. All right. Then we got philia, which is friendship. All right. Storge, that's how it's said. Storge, familial love. All right? That could be the love of a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, a cousin, a nephew, an aunt, an uncle, and that familiar, like we're tied by something. And I want to pause here for a second and just let you know, if you're adopted, this still applies, because the adoption process can absolutely fill this bucket. It can fill this storge bucket. Matter of fact, I wasn't adopted, but I had what I called a surrogate family, a second family, and it filled this bucket. That's my story. I'm happy to tell you more about that at some other point. Agape, which is righteous love. This is the center. This is the pinnacle of the buckets of love, and it only comes from whatever the creator of that picture is. Okay. Ludus. Ludus is playfully flirtatious. It's the way I describe this one for people is it's that adult who's throwing a child up into the air, and that kid who's just laughing, and they're both laughing, and they're both being childlike in their play, not childish, but childlike in their play, but not to be mistaken with eros, romantic love. Now, you're probably catching this already, so I'm just going to pause. You can fill multiple containers at one time when you're in interactions with others. Matter of fact, your husband, your wife, your partner, whoever you're dating, they can often fill almost all of these at the same time. That's the advantage of having really intimate, close relationships. And there's limitations. If we start filling, the romantic love for multiple people, unfortunately, it means somebody's missing out on the fullness that could be the romantic love of a more, committed relationship. I'm going to get to that here in a second. Pragma, committed. Committed love is like the glue, right? Every relationship has ups and downs. And the things that the one kind of love that gets us through those really unusual and difficult times, the love that gets us through those is the committed pragma love. Okay. It's the one that says, I'm making this choice, in spite of myself or in spite of you, I still choose you, pragma. And then philatia, self-love. Now, side note for you, I love this one. How many of these loves can you fill on your own? One. One out of seven. So anybody who's teaching you, preaching to you, telling you that you got to love yourself more, they might be right. But understand it has a massive limitation. The committed love, you can't really touch much of that. The playful, flirtatious love, it's more of a relational interaction. Agape, relational interaction. Storge, relational interaction. Philia, relational interaction. Eros, relational interaction. You can only really touch the philatia by yourself. Pragma, maybe a little bit. You can stay committed to loving yourself. So maybe a little bit into that cup, but not a whole lot. So that matters. The rest of these are all dependent on relationships, with agape being a relationship, sort of like a spiritual journey toward the creator of love. Whatever you determine that to be, go with that. And over time, you may expand your understanding of agape or righteous love. So let's move to the five love languages. You probably all are aware that there's a guy named Gary Chapman, five love languages. And again, I don't know what's going on with my technology. I hope this is showing up well for all of you. Words of affirmation. Look, there is no right or wrong to the five love languages, except what they need. Okay, so let me say that again. There's no right or wrong to the five love languages, except what they need. In other words, if a person needs words of affirmation and you don't give them words of affirmation, your love doesn't get in. Period. It's not about you. It's about them and what they need. Quality time. Okay, and that again is determined by the receiver of the love. What a person determines to be quality time, well, that's quality time for them. Receiving gifts. Do not underestimate this one. And one of the best gift givers I ever had in my life was a young lady I worked with when she was growing into adulthood, struggling with bipolar disorder. But holy smokes, was she a great gift giver. The amount of thoughtfulness in gifts. I got things around my office today from her. I got a deck of cards, probably costs $1, that has song lyrics that we used to listen to music and de-escalate and calm down and hang out and do some ludus playful like stuff while listening to music. Amazing. I got a Bob Ross that bobbles its head and some art book with it. It's really cool. And some other things. She was just a phenomenal gift giver. She actually taught me a lot about gift giving and how valuable and important it is to be a good gift giver. Not an expensive gift giver, a thoughtful gift giver. Man, I felt loved by her in a way professionally. Like this was an appropriate, you're talking, $5, $10, like, and 3 or 4 things, not a ton, but just the right amount of thoughtfulness. It was wonderful. She was amazing. I'd tell you more, but that would be breaking confidentiality. All right. Acts of service. You are going to have one of these 5 loves. Physical touch is the final one. One of these five is going to be more dominant for you, but they're also going to change based on relationship and environment. So, for example, when I was a clinical director, I I loved acts of service because my plate was always so full that an act of service, man, that just it hit the spot for me. But at home, physical touch, quality time, absolutely hands down, those are the two highest because the environment and the relationships are different there. So, uh, what I very much appreciate is when people understand and know their love languages and they know where their strengths and their weaknesses are. It makes it easy. So, for instance, if you tell me that I'm a quality time person, I'm going to say, okay, what is a good quality time activity for you? Well, I like to play Monopoly. Great. We're going to play some Monopoly. Why? If that's quality time for you, game on. Let's do it. I like to go for walks. Okay, let's go for walks. You get to determine what these are for you. But if you don't communicate them effectively, it's going to be really hard for anybody to love you in a way that is needed by you. So all you got to do is let them know. Remember, love is an offer and accept. It is not a give and a take. So you can offer love to somebody and they can either accept it or not. If they tell you how to love them the best, then you know what to offer. That's the advantage there. See how that works? I hope you're catching this. It's not super complex, but it's often overlooked. Okay. So, why does love matter? First part is it transcends time. It transcends time. If you've lost anybody in your life, for example, I lost my mom maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And when I think about my mother, I know as dysfunctional as she was much of the time, she loved me the best she knew how. And I can feel that love today just by thinking about my mother. If I've lost a friend, and I've lost some friends, same thing. I can feel it today because it transcends time. If it happened, it still exists. It's current as of this moment. My mom's love, because I carry it with me. That's pretty dang cool. All right. Why else does it matter? It transcends space. If I travel, a bunch of years back, I went to Scotland and I wanted to take my family. I really did. I wish I could. I'd love it to have another trip back to Scotland. I got to see some really cool stuff. Arthur's Seat, Edinburgh. We did a bunch of volunteer work for like a week. It was so neat. It was so great. But I didn't have my family. I did, however, have my family's love. It transcended space. I could take it with me, even though I couldn't take them with me. And they had my love. It transcends space. It's a choice that we can make at every moment of the day. You get to choose it. Part of that pragma, that committed love, is the ability to choose to offer it and accept it, which means it's available to you right now. You're in the darkest pit you've ever been in your life. It's available to you. It could be me telling you that it's available to you, and you're like, I feel you, Jeremiah. Because truthfully, I love, I love all of you. And I'm not being facetious when I say that. I'll prove it to you. Just a moment. It's not dependent on anyone else. It's you. Now you're like, wait a minute. Self-love only is 1 out of the 7. That's right. What I haven't told you yet is that love is a give or a offer first. You cannot accept love without offering love. It starts with you. You're in the darkest place. Go out and love somebody. Give them one of the 5 love languages. And if that doesn't work, give them a second and a third. Find the love language that works for them and give it to them. Or I should say, offer it to them. And think of those 7 containers. You can offer it to them as a friend, family. You can offer it to them as a romantic way. If you're struggling with your partner, it's not a bad idea to, I don't know, go offer to fill their love, their romantic love, their eros container. Right? It's risky, I know, but only until you do it. All right? It's not dependent on someone else. It's you. Give it away. It's not boundaryless. There are boundaries within love, which means you can do it in a way that's safe. In other words, you don't have to go offer eros to everybody. That was a little shout out to my sex addicts out there. You don't have to give it away to everybody. It can have boundaries. That's a double negative. That's terrible writing on my part. My bad for those of you following along. It's not negotiable. Go back when I said, it's not dependent on anyone else. That's because it's not negotiable. It's not a transaction. Are there transactions within love? Absolutely. But it is not by nature transactional. Put them in the right order. Love is not negotiable. Everything else is. I'm going to love you as you are. That's why I can honestly come on this podcast and I can tell you, if you're trans, I love you. If you're bi, I love you. If you're Christian, I love you. If you're not, I love you. If you're Buddhist, I love you. If you're tall, I love you. If you're fat, I love you. If you're skinny, I love you. If you're male, I love you. If you're female, I love you. Why? Because there's so many different kinds of love. And I will choose to give you one of them that's appropriate or more if it's appropriate, right? I could give you the friend love, the mentor-like love, right? I could give you the ludus, playful love simultaneously. Why not? I'll do my best with agape. That is all dependent on my connection to the source. And for my particular situation, my God. But I'll do my best. I'll always do my best. And I fail, just like you. But it's not negotiable. I will love you up close if I can. I'll love you at a distance if I can't love you up close. When prioritized correctly, it changes everything. That is why love matters. Because when you put it in the number 1 slot and just say, I am going to love others. The selflessness, you've probably heard me talk about altruism, that takes over your system, shifts every vantage point you have. You will look at family different. You will look at friends different. You will look at your work different. You will look at your social arena different. You will look at drinking and sex different. You will look at politics differently as well. Because you will put things in appropriate perspective. Love does a ton, maybe all of that work. I'm not really sure. I've been exploring, how love impacts everything for a number of years now. And this is the most concise that I have gotten this. I hope that you on your side of the world, wherever you are catching this and understanding love just a little bit better because of what we've put together here. And I hope that you will take this and you will share this with as many people as possible. Because let's be real, it'd be really nice to have more love in your world, wouldn't it? More connection, more real connection, not bot, not transactional connection, but people who choose you because you're you, and that's good enough. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate our audience a lot, so we give you some simple ways to track us down. Please like, subscribe, and follow all the podcasts on different platforms, but you can also email us at healthyperspectives@protonmail.com, or you can check out our website at healthy-perspectives.com/podcast. It's a backward slash. So if you want to go to our landing page, if you go to healthy-perspectives.com, you'll still find us. You just got to click on the podcast button. Thank you so much.